Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
Beach FM 106.3, let's talk about a book. Let's talk about a lady who knows a lot about books. Karen McMillan, good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning, John.
Lovely to talk to you. You have another Elastic Island adventure out, I believe.
Yes, it's the fourth book in the series, and it's called Alphabet Resort. So it's great for children from about 7 or 8 through to about 12.
Wonderful to get the kids reading the books. Knowing you and your love of books, is that one of the reasons you got involved in authoring?
Oh, well, actually, my husband's granddaughter was coming up to being 10 years old a couple of years ago, and she'd been saying to me for years, like, why don't you write a children's book? Because I've written a lot of books for adults. So when she was coming up to the age of 10, I was like, oh, I better get on with it, I better do something, otherwise, the window will be gone. I had no idea this fun family project, because that purely is what it was, because it would turn into this big multi-book deal and the movie rights have been optioned and it's all been crazy.
That has been the case with many children's books over the years. Often they're written, Winnie the Pooh is written for Christopher Robin and only Christopher Robin originally, and that's been the case with many of the children's book series over the years. So it's wonderful that you started off because you had a client in mind, didn't you?
Yes, a family member, absolutely. Yes. And I try to involve her in the process too. So it's been, whatever happens with us, we've had a lovely, lovely experience, and she's done a few interviews with me. And, she doesn't write the books, she's now 12. But I certainly get, feedback from the target audience by talking to her about them.
Indeed. Well, let's talk about this Elastic Island adventure. What's the idea? What makes an island elastic?
Yes, well, the premise of this is 4 children are down at Browns Bay Beach here in Auckland, and they discover this elastic island. So this elastic island, it's like, if you look at it, it's just sand and palm trees, but when it gets going, it like pings across the ocean like an elastic band. So it's very unsafe, but that means my children can travel very, very quickly from New Zealand to a fantastical place.
All keeping social distancing, of course, in these lockdown days. But this is a way to get over the lack of plane flights, isn't it? Perhaps we should try and make this a real thing. Well, of course it's a real thing because it's in the book, but you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
Make it into a different dimension.
So in this book, there's no passports, there's no queues, there's no waiting around, and there's no COVID, okay?
No, that's dead right. So this is, as you say, the 4th of the Elastic Island adventures. Obviously something's working. And I've heard a bit of a rumour that maybe a film in the works as well.
Yes, well, a theme song's been written, so that's really exciting. I actually cried when I heard it. And a film script's been worked on, so, it's probably going to be ages before we see it on the screen. But, things are developing behind the scenes, so it's very exciting. As a writer, it's exciting for me to kind of, get a little taste of this TV film world, which I really know nothing about.
I believe that song may have been written by Murray Grindlay.
Yes, and he's such an iconic songwriter. Like, I was just blown away when he did a song for me. Incredible. So, this whole process has been incredible. And, I've been invited to, many schools and festivals around New Zealand and Australia before COVID. And it's just been amazing to get in front of, literally thousands of kids who just love these books. And it encourages their own creativity as well, which I just adore. So it's amazing how many emails I get from children now going, I'm writing my own book, because I read yours and it so inspired me. And I think, yes, that is fantastic.
It seems to me that maybe these books are designed to try and get kids to do some more reading. I certainly notice a few authors and few books mentioned in dispatches. Is that part of your plot as well?
Well, certainly as this book, it's my cunning plan to sneak in all these other authors that are age appropriate for my children reading the book. Yeah. So Alphabet Resort, every building is named after a famous children's writer. So there was just a lovely, lovely, excuse to, just champion all these other authors. Because I kind of figure if you're 10 or, 12 or whatever, you might not know about these authors. As adults we do, as kids you might not. So in my book, there's loads and loads of suggestions of, books that they'll like and, authors that are age appropriate.
And this has all been road tested by your technical advisor, the husband's granddaughter, is it?
Yeah. No, she loves the whole process.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it is great, but it means like my number one reader is the age range. It's perfectly targeted. And she's part of her friends. They all love books and they read books, and like that's really encouraging as well, isn't it?
Well, Karen, you're a very seasoned author. You've written novels, you've written non-fiction books. Is there anything different about writing something for young adults?
I think it's being very, very aware of your target market and their sensibilities and what. It's trying to. It sounds a bit crazy. Like, I'm obviously a grown woman, but I write these books with my 10-year-old self in mind. And as a 10-year-old, I'll be writing stuff going, "Oh, that's so boring. Take it out." "Oh, wow, that's really exciting. Let's put more of that in." So I try to approach it from a real child-centric point of view.
But let's face it, neither of us were 10 yesterday, were we? Is your 10-year-old self up with the times? And I don't want it to be offensive, but I think that must be the challenge. What is relevant for kids now? That must be the issue.
Well, I think actually my books are appealing to kids and to parents because there's a bit of a retro thing going on at the moment. So there's deliberately no computers or cell phones in my books. So this is very much the premises for kids having, old-fashioned fun. They're out there and out in nature, doing stuff. So I'm very much not, like I'm resisting putting any technology in. So my whole way that they travel on Elastic Island is more kind of like a steampunk kind of thing. So there is kind of like some pseudoscience behind it, but it's not like computer technology.
Wow, steampunk. This is getting quite retro, isn't it? So this is fascinating. In a way, it's a bit of a time capsule we're talking about then, but you've also got this wonderful spatial thing zipping around across the oceans. So a lot of excitement there as well.
Yeah, look, it's an action adventure. So there's, boys and girls both love the books. And I think there's enough kind of like character development and relationship stuff, but also just, they've got to get away from the baddies or they've got to solve a problem, or in this case, they're going to a wedding and, the bride-to-be is kidnapped in front of them. So, they've got something to solve there and, a problem to fix. In all of my books, each of them always has one real-life unusual creature. So children love that element too. So the first book, we've got a platypus. Second book, we've got this diverse family of quokkas. Book 3, we've got a family of chameleons. And in the new book, we've got Wombo the wombat, who's a bachelor looking for love, So I'm just having a lot of fun with real-life animals as well.
You do sound as if you're loving it. And I guess that's quite important for you because authoring a book can be quite a lonely process, can't it?
Actually, this is like the opposite of writing a book for an adult because I've got this huge team of people around me. I've got family involvement. There's the illustrator from Russia. There's my publisher. There's the Fuzzy Duckling Media people that are looking at the movie, distributor, booksellers. Like, it's really like this team thing. And then you get, to visiting festivals and schools, and like then you're dealing with thousands of people. So it's the opposite of actually of it just being like lonely little me sitting in my room by myself. It's actually being almost the other way around.
It sounds far too much fun.
It's really fun.
Well, it's wonderful. Karen, do you think that we're entering into a new age of reading? I'm just wondering whether our last 6 weeks in lockdown land has meant that more people have begun to look towards literary diversions, and maybe this is the time for, once again, the printed word to reassert itself.
People have really been missing books because you haven't been able to buy them during lockdown. Now you can buy them in Level 3 online. But it's not, it's still with delays with crews and stuff. So I think once those bookstores open, people are going to be flooding in to buy books. Stock up because everyone will have read everything they've got in their house by now. So, it's best to get onto the next new series and things. And reading has never got out of fashion with children. Teen reading, it's up and up, So, like, children are of the digital age. But they don't tend to read books, on their devices. They tend to read actual physical books. That's
interesting, isn't it? So I'm hugely reassured by this interview, Karen. Maybe I'm not so out of sync as I thought I was, but this does look heaps and heaps and heaps of fun. Elastic Island Adventures. This is the Alphabet Resort. Are we going to have more Elastic Islands in the future?
Yes, I'm committed to writing at least another 2 books in the main series. There's also a spin-off series just with Blong the Cat, who's one of the characters from the book. So we've got Blong the Cat's costume caper. It's available as a picture book that's, for toddlers, people through 3 to 7. I'm also working on a book series with my Fribbles, who they're imaginary creatures, but they paint. So, stay tuned. This Elastic Island world's kind of growing.
Oh, it's wonderful. And you must be having heaps and heaps and heaps of fun as these creatures become real. And they do become real in the magic of the printed page. So it's been lovely talking to you, Karen. Thank you very much for keeping us up to date. And no doubt we will talk again. Can't wait for the next Elastic Island to make itself present on the bookshelves. Lovely to talk to you, Karen McMillan, here on Beach FM. Thank you.
Thank you. That's lovely. Thank you.
106.3 Beach FM.